Okay, in this video we'll show how to implement the Euler's method on a spreadsheet, and this is the key equation here that we'll be implementing. We explained it in the previous video, and we'll show how this equation works on this example here. So let's go ahead and start up our spreadsheet, and we'll copy the things that we need into the spreadsheet. It's coming. Okay, so let's go ahead and copy the equation that we're going to be implementing. That's this one right here. Just hang on a moment. It seems to be taking a while. All right, let's try again. All right, well, let's try again. All right, so we need the differential equation and the initial condition. We'll copy, and we'll put in our spreadsheet. All right, so that's our differential equation, and let's put in our Euler equation as well. That's this expression here. So I'll go ahead and copy that. Just paste it here. All right. Well, let's see. What do we have that's given here? We have our form of the equation. Okay. So this is going to be Euler's method for solving ordinary differential equations. The standard abbreviation for ordinary differential equation is ODE. And let's change these to the color, and we'll make it bold. Okay. The first thing we need to do is specify the function. And that's the function f of x and y. And let me just write it here. This is just for my benefit. It's not going to be used by the spreadsheet to calculate. So my function f of x, y is in this case is going to be, let's write it carefully, 2 times sine of 3 times x minus parenthesis x squared times y squared, close parenthesis. And then it's over a denominator divided by the exponential of y. That's a complicated looking function, but you'll see that it's not that complicated to implement. All right. The other thing that we need is the starting value of y. There's also a starting value of x. So let's put that here. We'll put starting value of y. Well, let's put the starting x first, and that's x0. And then we'll put the starting y, and that's y0. And our x0 is 0, and our y0 is 5. All right. Now we also have an h in our equation. I'm going to put h down here because I'm going to try different values of h in the solution. So I'm going to put h here. And let's start out with a h that's not too small. Let's start with a h is equal to 1/10. So we'll put 0.1 there. All right. Now, when we solve this equation, we're going to need the value of xi, yi, f of xi, yi, and then we'll use those values to get my yi plus 1. So that's what I'm going to do here. I'll label my columns xi, yi, f of xi, yi. Okay. And that will be enough to give me the solution that I need. All right. Now, when we start off, the first value of xi is 0. So I'm going to go here, and I'm going to set that equal to 0. And I'm going to make that a fixed reference because I'm always going to want to start at the same value. So let's hold down our shift and press F4, and we have a fixed reference for xi. Similarly with yi, I'm also always going to want to start at this value. So I'm going to click there, and I'll make this a fixed reference, shift F4. Now I need the value of the function at these two points. So I'm going to go ahead and type in my function that I typed in up here, equals, parenthesis, 2 times sine of 3 times, now x is this value, minus, parenthesis, x is this value, squared, times y is this value, squared, divided by the exponential function of y. All right, now again, this seems complicated. All I've done is retype this equation and use this value for x and this value for y. That's the only thing I've done. Every time you see an x here, you'll see a A10 here. Every time you see a y here, you'll see a B10 here. Okay. All right, now, what's the next value of xi? Well, xi is always equal, that's equal to xi plus 1. Xi plus 1 is always equal to xi plus h. If you go back to the picture that we had before, you'll see that h was always the difference between the successive x's. All right? So in this spreadsheet, in order to get the next x, I'm going to have the previous x, which in this case is A10, plus the value of h. Now, I'm going to use different h's, and I'm going to put the different h's in different columns. So in this case, I just want to fix the row and not the column. So I'm going to hit Shift F4 until I get the row fixed and not the column. Now you can see the formula there. All right, now what's my next value of y? In this case, I'm going to use this formula here. This is yi plus 1. So it depends on the previous value of y plus the previous value of f times the value of h, which is here. And again, I want to fix the column here, but I want to fix the row, but not the column. So I'm going to hit Shift F4 until I fix the row and not the column. Okay. Now, I already have the formula for the function. I'm just going to fill this down to the next line, and that's going to give me my function evaluated for this x and this y. You see, instead of A10 and B10, I have A11 and B11. Okay. Well, now I'm ready to fill down because this function, this value of y depends on the previous up here. This value of x depends on these values up here. So everything is okay. So I can go ahead and fill this down. I'm not sure how far I want to fill down, so I'll fill down fairly far. If you remember, fill down is Control D. So I'll hit Control D for fill down. Now it looks like I went too far. That doesn't mean there's a mistake. It just means that the solution went out of control. You can see this, that it's getting very, very small, so the solution simply went out of control. That often happens when you do approximations. You can't expect a completely accurate answer. All right. Well, let's add colors here to show what we're doing. I'm going to move this equation over here and this equation up here to get them. Whoops, didn't mean to do that. Let's move back a little bit. Okay, we'll move from here. Like that. Okay, just to keep them out of the way. And let's see. These are our givens, so I'm going to make this area yellow, like I usually do. And here's our first table. So I'm going to use this function, if I hold down the control and the shift and press the down arrow, let's do it again. That will take me to the end of my region. And let's make this a nice color. I think I'll make it light blue. Okay. And I'm going to go back up to the top with control and press the home. Okay. Now, let's start off with our graph. I want to graph the solution up to x equal 1. I just made that choice. You could do it up to a different number, but let me just take the graph up to x equals 1. So that means I should select this region down to 1, and I'll take the y, because I want y as a function of x, and I'm going to insert a chart, and I want an xy chart with lines, and let's see what else I want. I think that's okay. That's okay. For the name, well, we'll choose the name later. Okay. I think we're okay, so let's just, the x-axis should be x, and the y-axis should be y. Let's do that. Okay. So this is what our solution looks like. All right. Now what we're going to do, first what we're going to do is move this out of the way. Let's make it a little bit small because it's too big. Shrink it down for now and move it out of the way. And we'll make it bigger later. Okay. Move it up here. There, it's moving. Okay. Let's see if that works okay. All right. And make it still smaller. What I'd like to do now is do the same thing for a different value of h. Now I already have my computation completely arranged here. So if I take this whole block and copy it over here, for instance, and plug in a new value of h, then that'll give me a new graph. And we'll see how the accuracy of the solution depends on h. All right, so the way I can do that is I'll just select this area here, and if I hold down the shift and control and press the down arrow, and press it again, that will select my whole region. I'm going to copy that with Control C. I'll go back up to home with Control Home, and then I'm going to click here and I'm going to paste. So edit, paste. Okay, let me make this a different color to distinguish it from the other one. I use this light blue here. Let's use a somewhat darker blue. And in this case, I want to use a different h. Let's use a h that's half as big as the previous one. So I'm going to put here equals this value of h divided by 2. Okay. Now notice that the x's have changed, the y's have changed. I have my new solution. Let me go ahead and do that again. I'm going to select these 3 columns, hold down Control Shift, down arrow again, Control Copy. I'll go home by holding down Control, press Home. And then I want to paste over here in this cell. Unfortunately, this is in the way, so let me move this up. And I'm going to paste it here. So I'll do Edit, Paste. All right, now notice what's happened here. I've already divided the h again by 2 because of the way I arranged the formula. So in this way, I'm going to get smaller and smaller values of h. Let me go ahead now and select this one, and we'll do one more time. Okay, let's go here. So I'm going to go here, Control Shift, down arrow, down arrow. By the way, let me make this region a different color as well. I used this color, I believe. I'll use this color now. I want to copy this, so I'm going to do Control plus C for copy. I'll go back home with Control Home. I'll scroll over, and we'll do another one here, and I'm going to paste it with Control V. And let's put one last blue color here. We'll try this color here. Okay. So what do we have here? We have 1, 2, 3, 4 approximate solutions for 4 different values of h. Now let's see how the graph changes when you use different values of h. All right, so our graph up there is shrunken now. I'm going to move out so I can see it better, and we'll place it in a place where we can expand a little more. Let's bring it out here, and then we can expand it. Okay, there, that looks a lot nicer. Okay, so I want to add data to this chart. I'm going to double-click on the chart with the left mouse button. I'll right-click in the chart, look at data ranges, go to data series. Now what I want to do is get a new data series. I want to change the name of this series because I want it to be labeled by h. So I'm going to go over here and put the name as this h value here. Okay. So that's my first data series. That corresponds to h equals 0.1. Now I want to add a second data series. So I'm going to press Add. The name of this one, I click over here to add the name, select data range. I'm going to make this one be 0.05. That's the next value of h. My x values, I'll click here. The range for my x values, well, I want to choose this column now. And I actually want to take this column all the way down. Excuse me, I made a mistake. I want to select this column all the way down until I get to 1, because that's how far I'm going. For my y values, select the y values. I want to select the corresponding y values all the way down to 1. Okay, so my second series is fine. Let me go to my third series. The name of this series, I'll click on Name, select Range. Name is here. Okay, go to X values. Range for X values. Move this out of the way. I'm going to select these X values down to where it goes to 1. So I'll just keep dragging down until I get to 1. Just keep holding it down, keep on dragging until I get to 1. There we go. Y values. Select the range for Y values. Let's go back up and see where we are. We want to take this column here. So I'm going to take this all the way down to where x equals 1. There we go. Okay. Now I want one more data series, and that's for the last group here. We'll click on this to select the range for the name. The name is here. Oops, I'm sorry, that was the y values. There's a mistake. Let me go up to name and select the correct range. We'll do the y values over again. Click here to select the range. There's the value. Click here to select the x values. Click here to go here. And now I'm going to have to go farther down because I want to select all the way to 1. And we're almost there. There we are. And then for y values, I need to repair this. So we'll go select the range and go up and select y values. I'm holding down the mouse button. I'm looking for where the x column goes to 1. All right, so you see just to the left, there's a 1. So my y values, my x values. I have 4 series. And let's go ahead and click OK and see what this looks like. Now, it looks like the graph is up here. And you can see these 4 series. Let's blow it up a little bit more even. Notice that the graphs are converging more and more to a particular graph. This blue graph is not steep enough, and the graphs become steeper and steeper as h decreases. Now we can actually characterize the error, but I'm not going to do that in this video. In this video, I just want to introduce the Euler method. So that's it.